Let's do the dang thing.
In this economy, the office supply that goes chompy chomp. Am I glitching? Oh, it's the boy. Oh! I genuinely could cry. And if you're nosy, like I am, enough butt stuff. Deco Mac, sewer dwelling love of my life. Why do I make things more difficult than they need to be? I love this little guy. Listen, there's a point of no return. Floodgates have been opened. Oh, hi. Welcome to Sewing Nerd Studios. I'm Joe. I have so many exciting things to share, but for full transparency, I am currently on my prep day for colonoscopy and endoscopy, so at least I can still have coffee. I also had to miss out on a concert last night, and I'm trying not to be sad about it. I cried a bunch. It's reasonable. I'm 35. I have to pick the responsible thing over the fun thing. If anybody got to see Say Anything on this tour where they're playing the entire album Is a Real Boy, I hope you had the best time. And I didn't know till a couple days ago that AJJ was opening, and they are one of my favorite bands that I used to go see back in the day. Am I old enough that I can say back in the day now? Oh no. It's probably been like 13 years since I've seen them put on such a good show, and I did see some photos and clips. As I expected, there was a lot of vocalization in support of a ceasefire from them, and Sean Bonnet even wrote on the back of his guitar, "Free Palestine." I am very much in support of the genocide ending, and I have shared me calling my representatives before, even though I feel like I'm just beating my head against the wall when I do it. That is something I feel like is important, and just I feel like it's been a minute since I've specifically clarified where I stand on that. So just making sure that's known. Seeing that made me feel good because they're punk kids at heart, and wouldn't have expected anything less. As for actual studio vlog things, I have some neutral but then exciting market updates to share that I'm very excited about. It feels good to have some wins under my belt because this whole year has been so difficult with markets, and I know it's just the state of things. But god damn it, has it been exhausting and hard to like keep your chin up with everything. I threw everything I had, put my whole crowbussy into this endeavor. If you don't know who Krobus is, he's a guy from Stardew Valley. I wish you could marry him. Sewer dwelling love of my life. When I made some Krobus jewelry, I got the phrase put his whole crowbussy into it stuck in my head, and I can't get it out. It's just in my brain forever now. But yeah, I have put everything I've had into upgrading my outdoor setup because I've been pretty happy with how my indoor setup has looked, and I've been really happy with the products I've been making. These crossbody bags I've been putting together with the swoon pattern, I'll link below if you're curious and want to check it out for yourself. I've been getting so many compliments on workmanship and the combinations of things, like the actual designing of it all, and same with some of my own personal patterns that I've created. I've just gotten a lot of feedback, and the market I did the other day, this woman came up to me, and this is definitely me projecting way too much onto this person, but it was this sweet little old lady. It was on May 11th, which is Mother's Day weekend, but it's also specifically my Grammy's birthday. She passed when I was 13. She was on my mind a lot that day. So when this little lady came up, was checking out my stuff and was like, "Do you make all this yourself?" I was like, "I sure do." Am I gonna tear up retelling this? She just came up to me and was like, "I'm really proud of you," and then just disappeared into the ether. I don't know where she came from / where she went, but it did feel like I was getting a little visit from my grandmother, so that was very sweet. And then I ended up having a spectacular day, but one thing at a time. We'll recap the markets at the end. We'll go over my sales slip and my updated spreadsheet on how events have been going this year and what my bestseller has been. Okay. Without further ado, let me show you the upgrades I have made to this outdoor display. So starting with the tent, this is a Ozark Trail tent from Walmart. It's $89. I have had 2 tents from there that I think cost like $50 each for 13 years, and they've held up great. I've seen so many different canopies that are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, like $500 to $600 sometimes, and I couldn't get myself to make that leap, and having used this tent a couple times now, this is so much quicker to do on my own. Oh my God. I literally squat underneath the tent once I have it mostly spread out, and I just put all the weight on the plunger and it pushes up to the top and it spreads out and it's beautiful. So setup and breakdown is a breeze. And I do have new tent weights. I have the original 4 that I put together last year, and they're working fine, but there are certain events I need more than 25 pounds per leg, so I needed a second set, so I put these together. The morning I went to go fill them, it wasn't supposed to rain at all that day, and I ended up having to hunker down under the lean-to where my tractor sits and try to fill them over there, and it was a little annoying, but it was fine. Still got the job done. So I think the tent weights were about $15 for the set of 4, and they hold, it says 25 pounds. I could not get that much sand into each of them, so I'd say it's closer to 20 pounds maybe. I also got some tent walls for the first time, and I got 3 because I imagine at most I'll need 3, although there's an event I'm doing next month. You're able to leave your tent up for a couple days because it's a 3-day event, but I don't want to leave all my inventory out, so I don't know that it's worth doing that. I haven't decided. I'm really not sure what to do about that, so I guess I'll see. I feel like most people probably leave their tents up, but it's outside. It's just like on a street. The street is shut down. People can't drive around over there, but you can still just like wander. It's not fenced off or something, so I don't know if it's worth the risk, but I guess I'll suss it out as it goes, because those days are also going to be 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. vending, so not having to do a full load in, load out all 3 days in a row would be awesome. Anyway, the tent walls were easier to put up than I was expecting. I thought there was going to be more like tension, whatever, but I got the brand that is the same as the tent, so it's like made to fit this. Also, I specifically needed a straight leg tent for the market I did this past weekend, so that was the main reason I needed to get a new tent. But oh my God, all these other factors about it have made my life so much easier, and I am so thankful. This was specifically purchased as like a birthday present business support from my fairy god Cheryl. The tent weights and the tent walls, I cannot thank you enough, because I was getting stressed out about investing in that because markets have been frankly such duds this whole year so far. It felt like kind of a big jump to be making, but I knew investing in that would be really helpful, so I'm glad I put that extra effort in. Once I had all that up, it was then noodling around with my new bag hanging display thing, because I've been using garment racks and they're portable. Obviously there's wheels on them. My partner added wheels to the one that didn't have any, and it's always just looked really cluttered having that, and that's also like a bunch of bulky stuff I'd rather not move around if I don't have to. But it occurred to me I can use the tent frame to hang stuff, especially because the bags I have don't weigh a lot. I wanted to hang my sling bags and my crossbody bags off of there, and then if I want to hang garments I can do that too. Anything I want to hang off of there probably isn't going to weigh all that much because it's all just fabric. Even if I hung all my jewelry, it's mostly recycled plastic, so it's also fine. So my partner helped me out with designing this, and we got some lengths of chain and then some dowels. He added the eye hooks to the end of each dowel so that I have a couple different ways that I can assemble all of this. So I have these big S hooks that hang from the tent frame. Then I put the chain on the S hooks through the eyelet onto the chain, and then I can put a second rung, a second dowel, however far down the chain as I want. And then sometimes I'll like fold the chain up and hook it onto itself so that it's not dangling around, but it just depends on how particular I'm being with the couple times I've set it up. I have a couple options. I had everything hanging like along the sides, like parallel to them, but I have discovered since then I really like having the crossbody bag rung hanging at like an angle. Just seems more visually interesting. It's not hanging so far into the front of the tent that it's obscuring people's view, but it's just a good entry point for people to interact with it, and then they can kind of decide like, do I want to go further into this tent or not? But they can still look at it from the outside without feeling like they're coming into my little shop stall, because I totally get how stressful it is going into a shop stall when you're not sure if you're going to buy something and feeling that pressure like, oh, if I go in there, I have to get something like that. Like, I don't want to be rude by going in, looking at stuff and being like, no thanks. Like, I get anxious about that sometimes. So I tried to make it look inviting. And I do have to say, most people that ended up looking at stuff on the outside there did end up coming in to look at the rest of things, where I think they would have just continued walking by otherwise. And that made me feel good. Then I had this big ol' honkin' swath of fabric. It was for quilt backing. So it's 108 inches wide, which is like 3 yards. So I got 3 yards long of a cut of it. So it was like a giant square of this like monochromatic spacey fabric. I thought I would need the whole thing because my thinking was like, okay, 9 feet by 9 feet, that almost fills this whole square. But the tent is not 10 feet tall where the sidewall ends. And I definitely don't need it to go down all the way to the ground. So I folded it up in half and actually really liked how that looked. So since then I have cut it in half, and you'll see how I ended up utilizing the 2 panels at the first outdoor market I did last weekend, 2 weekends ago. I really like how that ended up looking. So the 6-foot folding table I got last year, I think at Ocean State Job Lot. It was like $40 or $50. And I feel like that's a non-negotiable need for my table space. Like, I very much need that. And I did find these bed risers at Goodwill for like $1, which I don't use for indoor markets because I build my stuff up so high and I want it to be reachable for people that aren't as tall as me. And I already struggle with that. So just when I do outdoor markets, because I don't build my grid cube towers as tall, because I want everything to be visible if you're not under the canopy. So it is like doing a completely different setup. I feel like I've honed in on how I like my indoor stuff to look, but outdoor I've never felt like I had a good grasp on until now. And there are still tweaks I can make, but this has been feeling really good so far. I have this stretchy tablecloth I got for probably less than 20 bucks off Amazon. Should I make a little list of where I've bought all this stuff? I guess I can make a little link list. Obviously, I try to not get stuff off Amazon. Then the update I'm maybe most excited about, other than a whole new tent, is the signs I got made. These are like 1 by 3 foot signs from Vistaprint. I think with shipping it was like $20 to $25, somewhere in there, maybe like $23.50. So I got 2 of them, and it has my new logo, and I'm really in love with it. And I figured out a couple easy ways to hang it up. I even figured out how to do it without tent walls, because the market I did this past weekend I didn't have any of my walls up. Then yeah, I just noodled around with the grid cubes, and I have my new jewelry display that I also just used for bags. I barely had any jewelry out this past weekend because it was too windy. I'll let y'all watch the rest of this time lapse, and I will jump back in afterwards. Okay, so test run went really well, better than expected, to be honest. Then the first market I did with this new setup was the first Friday in Concord, New Hampshire with Concord Arts Market. I believe it was $40 for my space, and it was in Bicentennial Square, which is a really cool spot. I've done an outdoor market there before. The people that run these events are so nice. I actually think it's just one person that does it, but she knows what she's doing. She herself is a vendor, so I think that really helps inform how to run a good market. Considering people didn't even know that was happening, I think I did okay. I made more than twice my costs back, and it felt like kind of a time investment, effort investment, whatever, to get my name out there, because a lot of folks were local to the area, and I'm doing a 3-day market next month in Concord that a lot of folks that went to this first Friday thing are going to be at, and they were asking if I was doing it. And then also throughout the summer, once a month, I'll be doing Arts in the Park, which happens at Rollins Park in Concord. I can put the schedule below, and I think I'm doing almost all of those, and very much looking forward to it, because my first time ever doing a full outdoor market was at that last summer, and I had such a crap time. But I didn't do any test runs. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no plan. I realized as I was setting up, like, oh, my indoor layout isn't going to work under a tent. It was also raining. I didn't have tent walls. It was a whole thing. Not my favorite time. It can only go up from there. There were people that saw me at the first Friday thing that were like, oh, I saw you at some of the holiday markets, and literally had some of my mini bags in their purse with them. And I cannot tell you how cool that was. The following day, a free comic book day, didn't make many more sales. It was $65 for that table. It was a long day. I wish I had just been home with Bert the whole day, but I did sell my first crossbody bag. Not the first one I've sold in person, because I did sell one at the Love Witch market, like my last Mill Number 5 event down in Lowell. That's the market I do the most often. It's like they change the theme all the time, but that's where I do most of my selling. And someone had like specifically asked me to make them that style crossbody bag with specific fabric. So that felt a little different, where this was like, I just put my stuff out there and someone bought it. And I was very appreciative of that. Then, like, sales were okay that day. Here's the breakdown. The yellow is the first Friday event. So I sold some mystery items and a couple card wallets, which is one of my newer items as well. 3 dumpling pouches, 2 of my keychain bags. Not a ton of stuff. Then at Free Comic Book Day, sold a couple more mystery items, a couple pieces of jewelry. One person got a set of Mothman earrings and a necklace. It was actually a friend of mine. That was also the day our hats sold, like the auction for the stained glass window hats ended. Oh, and if you're nosy, like I am, the final sale price for the Ramona Flowers hat, and I'm not getting all of this. I don't remember what the breakdown is, but it's probably split like 50-50-ish. The Ramona hat sold for $315, and then the winning bid for the Adventure Zone hat was $460. And I have chills. I have goosebumps thinking about it. It's wild. I'm not feeling like I'm going to cry about it again, but I very much was weepy, realizing like anybody wanted these things that I got to help make. Oh, I thought my camera was yelling at me. So yeah, sold a couple card wallets, couple dumplings, a keychain bag, a crossbody. Honestly, I think I sold fewer items. So if it hadn't been for that crossbody bag someone bought, I probably wouldn't have made my table back. So kind of a frustrating day. I don't often feel like, oh, this was a waste of a day. It's not worth my time to be here. But that particular day, I think especially because the day before I hadn't been able to hang out with Bert that much because the event started at like 3 p.m. So I had to leave the house at like midday. And then the following day was this Free Comic Book Day thing. And Bert, the little champ, he was in his pen for like 10.5 hours. He's 16. I really was not expecting him to hold it, but he didn't have any accidents inside. And then I just snuggled the shit out of him the entire next 24 hours. He's such a good boy. I feel like such a bad mom on those days. I know there are plenty of people that leave their dogs for long stretches of time, but I'm never not going to feel guilty because he's just a little old guy. That's the thing I'm most nervous about with the market I'm doing next month. That's 3 days in a row. Is it's 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. vending hours. Anyways, those events were like, okay, but that's the best I've done at an outdoor market up in Concord. So not mad about the sales that I made for dipping my toes into this new setup for the first time, and the traction I got and so many people asking like, oh, are you going to be at Arts in the Park? Are you going to be at Concord Market Days? It just seemed like good energy to be putting out. I felt really good leaving that event. And then Free Comic Book Day, there were a number of people that were like, oh, are you going to be at Granite Con, which I am doing in September. Multiple people were like, oh, I'm going to save up so I can buy something for that. Or listen, Free Comic Book Day, you're expecting free stuff. Okay, back to whatever other prep I was doing in the moment. And then I will jump back and we can do one last little rundown about how my most successful event of the year went. Okay, hello. It is Monday, the 6th of May. 2 events under the belt from this past Friday and Saturday, but I have another one coming up this coming Saturday, so I left all that stuff still in the car. As far as having done one outdoor market and about to do my second one, I don't actually see any changes I want to make in my display, which I almost never have that feeling. I do want to cover the red bins underneath my table. I meant to bring an extra swath of something to just like drape it over, but I was also thinking under that sheer table cover, I have one of those like stretchy spandex tablecloths that really hugs everything underneath. So I think if I just bull clip, there's got to be a word for those. The office supply that goes chompy chomp, clipping some plain black fabric on the underside of that tablecloth so it's blocking everything, I think will make it look a little bit nicer. It's just to cover up the red. Because listen, if I could just spray paint these black, I absolutely would. It's my one complaint about this pack out stuff is it's just, it ain't my color. Even if it was blue, I don't think I would care. Or black, obviously, would be great. I brought this specific container inside because it has all of my sling bags inside, and I still have yet to put tags on them. I have the like price tags. These are the new ones I made, continuing the rebrand. So it says fully reversible sling bag. And then I wrote, flip me inside out. I don't know why that sounds inappropriate to me. The bit I don't have is all of these guys. So I'm gonna make another batch with the colors I have and just try to match them as best I can. But man, I keep putting it off and I need to stop that. You know, I really thought the Doctor Who ones would find homes at Free Comic Book Day, but I don't think I sold any slings. I didn't sell any either event. Oh yeah, I got this guy. I still have one Howl's Moving Castle bag left. Not gonna make any more of those because it's been more difficult to move those than I was anticipating. I still love them, but yeah, I do want to like repress some of this just so it's not so squanchy, just because it's been crammed in this bin for months. Oh yeah, then I think right now I have 3 of the glow-in-the-dark skulls. It's funny, a design will sell out when I make like 1 at a time or 2 at a time. And then when I finally dedicate the resources to make a batch of them, like 3 or 4, and I'm like, okay, great. Now I have enough stuff to cover the demand. Then they don't sell at all, which I sound ungrateful. It's just hard to guess what people want, and when there is an active want for something I make, and then I make more than one of them, that's an immediate death sentence to that design. I know it's not, but, you know, historically speaking, it's kind of how things have gone down so far. In addition to that box on the ground, I also got some of the supplies I ordered from ye old Amazon, and I'm going to spend some time making a mess apparently. I'm going to take some time to brand all of these, where I got plain black gift bags of varying sizes. I don't know why, but it was very important to me that they have black handles and not the brown ones. As if people aren't going to know it's a paper bag if the handles aren't brown. And then I have a bigger size, so if someone gets one of my sling bags or like a garment or a saddle bag. And then I also have this medium size that didn't seem that much bigger than this one, but actually trying to use these, like these are good for jewelry if someone gets earrings or a necklace. This is good for mystery bags and any of the mini bags like dumpling pouches, keychain bags, the card wallets I've been making, and the dog bag holders. And then I also got silver tissue paper, so I can just add a little extra something in the top so that it seems like a gift. And then if someone wants to, as a couple people said on Friday that bought a couple of my mini bags, they're like, oh, this is perfect because we can like gift this bag, meaning like a dumpling pouch they were buying for somebody as a present. We can just keep it in this bag. Like, thank you for gift wrapping it for us. I was like, absolutely, like my pleasure. As far as branding them, I have some stickers that I made. Nothing fancy, but I got a QR code and then the new logo. So I really like how this pops against this. I don't actually know how many stickers I have. It's probably less than 100, but I got like 175 bags, if I'm counting right. I think there were 25 little guys, 100 of this medium size. Yeah, these are 100. And these are the ones I'm going to use the most. I already almost used up all the ones I had packed, where I had like 5 or 6 of each size. And I think I have like 1 of the mediums left. And then I got 50 of these ones. So I'm curious to see how I go through them. I've only had a couple bags here and there from like the dollar store, and I've had a couple different sizes. They were serviceable, but they have my old logo and they're like a navy blue, where, listen, I'm not throwing them out or anything. I will use them, especially when I do markets at the brewery. I don't mind that still being my vibe over there, because obviously I'm doing stuff at a brewery and I have my Sewing Nerd alterations nights, the ales and alterations. So the beer drinking sewing lady logo, that seems to work really well for that. But everything else out in the world, this seems like the direction to be going. So yeah, I'm going to spend some time stickering the bags just to have them done. And then I need to pack a handful. I'm not anticipating making a ton of sales at my next market, but I like to be prepared. You know, I have them, so might as well. And I will say, I ordered these bags last Monday because I wanted them for the events I was doing Friday and Saturday. And I had to leave my house at like 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. And I thought I gave myself enough time, but Amazon was saying it wouldn't get here until today or yesterday. I was like, that's a bummer that I'll miss these 2 events, because it seems like good marketing, especially Free Comic Book Day is run by the same folks that do GraniteCon. And a lot of people that go to one go to the other, so it's good, like, oh, if you're looking for a specific style thing, let's plan for that for September and just kind of get a read on what things people were interested in. I immediately lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Mid-sentence, as I was speaking, I lost my train of thought. That's impressive. Why am I like this? Oh, the Amazon delivery. We got there. I had thought, worst case scenario, I can run to the dollar store and get a couple of the like 2 or 3 packs they have of whatever black bags they have in stock. And actual worst case scenario, I already have like the blue paper bags with my old branding, and I guess I could have just put stickers on those, like over the old one. That's actually probably what I should do. That seems like a much simpler solution to my current problem. Went to the dollar store, they didn't have a single black gift bag in that whole store. Didn't matter what size. It's like, okay, well, let me go to the grocery store, because I need a couple things anyway, and see if they have anything by the gift cards. And A, there's no way that was going to be reasonably priced, and B, there was not anything suitable for my needs. Anything black was like, congrats, grad. As I get back in the car to decide, do I go to a different dollar store or do I just cut my losses and go home? And I wasn't getting any notifications about it like being out for delivery or anything. And then I get a text that I assumed was spam from my Amazon delivery driver, and I was like, this must be just like a fraudulent text message I'm receiving, because when did Amazon delivery drivers start messaging the recipients? And it had a note that was simple yet effective. I have dropped your package off on your front porch. Have a lovely weekend. I was like, oh. So then I drove back home and the box was there, and I had exactly enough minutes to sticker a handful of bags, pack it, and head out the door to my event. And considering how rainy and stormy and windy it's been most of this spring so far, it was the perfect weather on Friday for the outdoor event. I'm so thankful for that. And today, this is like my favorite weather. It's 70, it's not humid, it's not buggy yet. The only bugs are like the bumblebees, that are getting all the dandelions. More than content with them being around because they're cute little guys. But if we could have like 6 months of weather like today, that'd be great. But if y'all don't know, if you're not from the Northeast, I think it surprises people how humid it gets here because it's not Louisiana or something. It's atrocious in the summertime. It's hot. I'm sure it's hotter other places, but when the air is so wet, you're like suffocating. You sweat just existing. It's miserable, and I do not handle the heat well. Turns out the medication I take makes it harder to handle the heat. I just assumed it was global warming, and listen, both realities can exist at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. Boy, am I uncomfortable for like 3 to 4 months of the year. So, stickering bags, adding the brand labels to my slings, continuing working on Friends trivia that I'm hosting on Thursday. It's the one theme that I have on the calendar for the year because we picked all the themes in January for like all of 2024, and it's the only theme I am not personally invested in. I know a smattering of Friends references. I could barely name the 6 main characters, but I basically got bullied into hosting it by a lot of people. There is such strong demand for Friends, and since I'm unwilling to give the people Harry Potter because we do not tolerate TERFs here, I had to cave in some other regard, so Friends is fine. But other than like working on that in the background, letting my brain wander into the Friends-iverse, I will also be packing up Happy Mail for Patreon. I'm very excited. I have these coloring pages I designed for Free Comic Book Day, so like anybody that made a purchase got one of these. I really like them. It's really smooth cardstock, so I knew colored pencils would work well, but my sister and my nibblings tested out alcohol markers like Copics. It bleeds through to the backside, but not onto whatever surface you're coloring on, because I know that's a concern with alcohol markers. I'd imagine Posca pens also work fine on this, but I have not tried that myself. So I just thought it'd be a cute little thing to send out, and I have a batch of cryptid stickers to send along as well, because I don't want to just send the coloring page because it's not even like a postcard, so I just want to add a little extra something to the mix. So I got my little booty squatch, my little Mothmans, and the Doer Coo. And I gotta say, this little guy has been so warmly recepted. I don't know what it is about the design I did for him, but I get so many comments on it where some people are like, obviously it's a cryptid, but like, who is this? What is it? Tell me about him. It's so fun getting to like be the person spreading the good word of the Doer Coo. It's a giant murder otter from Ireland, so I don't know how cute it is in reality, but I guess I just made him really adorable, which also makes me feel really good because this is like a not very well documented or fan arted cryptid, so this is very much just my interpretation of what I thought it'd look like, and I love him and the fact that he's gotten such a positive response from people that don't know me at all. They're just like, I love this little guy. That makes me feel extra good. So this will all be getting packed up. I also have a bag I'm sending to one of my custom shit people, along with this little set of goodies. That'll be Patreon stuff done. Speaking of trivia, if you're interested and you're part of Patreon at any tier whatsoever, I did post Doctor Who trivia up there. I decided on that theme just because I never got to run that one. It's like a 15-minute long video where I run through 2 sets of 10 questions and I give all the answers. And I also give the answers to the visual rounds, which I linked Google Drive files in the text of that post. So if you want to play along, just you, watch the video, or if you want to like play it with friends, use that as like your own hosting resources, whatever you would like to use that for. It is available to you. I just wanted to share the game because I was really proud of how that came out, and I put a ton of time into these, and sometimes I only end up sharing it with like 6 people, and I want more folks that would like to check it out to be able to check it out. It's almost 11:30. I'm giving myself 3 hours to get all of the things done that I just listed off because I want to have a little bit of time afterwards to pick out fabrics for a new batch of dumpling pouches because I have almost sold out of those. And as I've been tracking on my chart so far this year, that's the most popular seller I have. So I feel like that's a good place to focus my efforts. Let's get to it. Good morning. It's Thursday. It's 8:36. I have not been awake for very long. Bert woke me up at like 4 and I was awake long enough. I almost just got up for the day, and then thankfully I did fall back asleep a little before 6. So I snoozed for a little bit longer and then got up at 8. So slightly later start to the day that I was planning. We're off to the races. We're getting there. That's right. I did work for the brewery Tuesday night. Most of this year I've just been doing my alterations nights there and trivia, which are both like my own work. So I feel like those haven't counted in a good way, meaning like I have generated that work myself. But I did work this like Chamber of Commerce event. As for today's work, I have cut out 26 keychain bags, 39 dumpling pouches. More than I meant to. Are we surprised? So today's plan is to interface them and get them ready to sew. Gonna cut a lot of interfacing. That's gonna be the next like 2 hours probably, so I will check in later. Oh, also, I just got a call for a surgical consult about getting a preventative hysterectomy. I've been asking about getting a hysterectomy for like 15 years. I genuinely could cry.
All right, gang, it is Saturday morning and I am almost running behind. So we're gonna hit the road. About to go do what I'm thinking of is like my first official outdoor market, even though I do technically have one other one under my belt. This feels like the real deal. So fingers crossed it goes okay, and let's do the dang thing. Ooh. For once, I actually made table back in the first hour.
We're about halfway through the market, and this has already been the best-selling event I've had all year at least. Probably since Granicon in September. I'll take it.
Today was awesome. I needed a win. It's been so rough this whole year. I know for everybody, like, times is hard. They said it was like one of the slowest markets they've had, and I have to double check, but I am pretty sure this was my best single day event. That does feel very good. I didn't end up having my walls up because behind me was like this gorgeous brook. Plus it was kind of windy and I felt like having more sails would be bad. And I forgot my chair. That's the main thing, and I'm really upset about it. My body hurts and I wasn't able to take any pain meds. I also couldn't like go get a beer after with some friends. Anyway, I'm gonna go pull my car up. It should be a quick load in because I can pull right up next to my spot. This has been a hell of a ride. All the crap shows I had earlier this year, I was able to survive those because I had support from everybody over on Patreon. But it's nice to have more than just survival funds that I can reinvest. I mean, I did put myself in debt a little bit with the upgrades I made, but that has evened out. And then I can put a little bit more towards materials for future projects, which reminds me I need to order probably $200 worth of materials for a secret project that I'm very excited about, but more on that later.
Clearly, the event went really well, even though this is the other half of the batch of dumplings and keychain bags I made that I prepped to make that I didn't even get to put together for this past weekend's market, the Mayflower market. I had 26 keychain bags prepped. I cut that in half, and then I also had 39 dumpling pouches prepped. I cut that in half. They were doubles of a lot of designs, so it was pretty easy to pick out what ones I was going to do and what ones I wasn't. But I still got between 30 and 40 bags done before the end of Friday night when my market was Saturday morning. So considering the time restraints I had last week, not mad about it. The weather was good. It was like windy enough to be kind of annoying, but not destructive and disastrous or anything. Had to keep an eye on things and kind of readjust as the event went on. And then, yeah, my dudes, look at the sales sheet. All the green is all the stuff I sold. I didn't put any mystery items out. It just doesn't always feel like the crowd for it. Usually when there's like younger people there, I don't know. Had I made room for it, I probably could have made some sales that way, but like, I just didn't feel like taking up table space with it. Also, I want to revamp my mystery bags, especially my earrings, because I have a Cricut. There's gotta be patterns that exist to make little like gift boxes. And I want to print out my Galaxy design and just like make my own little custom printed mystery boxes. That seems like the move. Since my printer can do full color pages, it prints by the page. So you can put as much ink on there as you want. That's one of the things I want to workshop in time for the 3-day market next month. So we'll see. I feel like I have a lot of inventory to rebuild though, because I sold 8 dumpling pouches, 3 of my crossbody bags, and 4 of my slings. I think it's like the most items I've sold in a day. It feels so cool because I've never been to this event before. I've never been to Chelmsford, Mass. This was at a coffee shop called Old Mill Coffee House. The people running it were really great. It was expensive. It was $120 for the booth, but the foot traffic was amazing and people were like willing to spend monies, which is really nice. And even the people that did or didn't actually were so complimentary. So nice. I had multiple people come up just to tell me how much they appreciated like the good workmanship. And they're people that like have been sewing for a long time. It's just like, you didn't need to say that. So thank you for going out of your way to give a compliment. Yeah, it meant a lot. I felt like that was a good place to be. So I did apply to a couple other markets that they're doing later in the year. I did also get denied for an event that I had to pay to apply to, which is becoming more of a thing, I think. I paid $15 to apply, which is not that extreme, and I didn't get in. It was for the Coolidge Corner Arts Festival. I just don't think my stuff is the right vibe for it. They were pretty vague in their like response as to why they weren't accepting me. It was definitely just like the default response to things, because I do kind of want to follow up and ask like specifically what the deal is, but then I looked at other vendors from previous years and just not so much. Where the people that were running the Old Mill Coffee House event this past weekend that I did really well at, first off, they were apologetic because they said this was not as much foot traffic as they were expecting. This was one of the most well-attended events I've ever done. So if this is a bad day for you, I would like to come more often, please. So worth that extra. I mean, they marketed the shit out of it. That bodes well, I think, for future markets. Yeah, the people running it had seen me at a Mill Number 5 event at Lowell. There's a lot of mill buildings in New England, if that's not coming across. Pioneers of the Industrial Revolution with the textile mills in this part of the country. So, like, why is everything a mill? That's why. Anyways, so they saw me at Mill Number 5, reached out to me, kind of headhunted me for this market, where, like, I still had to apply and everything, obviously, like, pay for my booth. They just saw I'd be a good fit. They really liked my stuff, obviously, and then they thanked me for coming, and they couldn't have been sweeter. And I just, getting sought out for something like that, them having that kind of confidence in me, and then the follow through of, like, the crowd also showing up as hard as they did, I feel very, very lucky to be at a place where people are requesting me to be at an event. Come here, baby. I'm going to be hiding away for the rest of the night once I have to start taking the medication I have to take for this colonoscopy prep. So I will not be hanging out with Bert much. My partner is going to be in charge of him just because, you know, there will probably be some urgency to what I am dealing with, and I won't be able to give him my full attention. So I basically have to spend a night away from him, and I'm sad about it already. I'll be in the same house, but just won't be able to snuggle my little guy, and it's gonna make me really sad. But yeah, anyway, the Mayflower Market is the name of the one I did in Chelmsford, Mass. That went really well, and the folks were really nice. I was nervous at first about the cost of the event. Obviously worth it. I made my table back within the first hour. I can definitely count on one hand, maybe like 1 or 2 fingers, the other times that has happened. It's almost never a thing. So that was very encouraging. Oh, and when I got home, I saw I had an email from the one other event I applied to that charged an application fee. It was only $5. They accepted me, which felt good. It's a very, like, spooky bitch market. It's happening in September. It's by the seacoast in New Hampshire. I think it's like Dover, New Hampshire, which is a really pretty area. And I think they're like shutting down the whole downtown area. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's $100 for that, but I do have to buy event insurance, which is $50. I know you can buy an insurance plan for the year, and I'm going to look at what like the cost difference is. So if I need to do that going forward, we'll see. Last year, there was only one event I needed that for. It doesn't seem like a bad thing to have, but if it's exorbitantly expensive, probably just going to do the one and done. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing that market. I think it's going to be really cool. And there's a big focus on sustainability and supporting Indigenous makers. I'm feeling good about being included with that group. That's going to do it for us. I have a hell of a day ahead of me. I am going to try to get a custom order done. I have 2 Ramona Flowers bags to make. I feel like I always have 2 Ramona Flowers bags to make, but a good problem to have. It's the most expensive thing in my entire shop, so it's been helping me keep afloat with all of these dud markets throughout the year. And yeah, I'm going to get as much done as I can. This time tomorrow, I'll be back to normal, hopefully, because it is a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, meaning I might have trouble swallowing certain things, so I'm nervous about that, but I think I'll probably be okay. I'm desperately looking forward to sitting down in a diner and having minimum 3 plates of food in front of me. So that's the plan for tomorrow after I wake up. Anyways, enough butt stuff. I will see you back here with another video in 2 Fridays. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hello. What's up? Oh, it's the boy. Oh. Are you okay? I love old dogs so much. They don't call me a ham-fisted ogre for nothing. It's not gonna be May. It is now May. I got to have ice cream for dinner last night at least, so that is something. Is my growing up pore showing?